Hello, my name is Mike Summers and I am the Wind Instrument Brand Manager at KHS America. These brands include Jupiter Band Instruments, Azumi Flutes, Altus Professional Flutes, and EXO Professional Brass Instruments. Today I'm going to show you how to clean your flute. First, we disassemble the instrument. After you finish playing it and disassembling it, I use a clean cloth. I thread it through my cleaning rod, and I try to cover the whole rod with the cloth. This will keep from scratching the inside of the instrument, and it will also aid in helping it not get stuck in your instrument. That's a bad thing. So gently, I thread the rod with the cloth on it through the instrument on both sides. And when I hold the flute, I want to make sure that I'm not awkwardly pressing down on any keys other than the ones that I normally press when I play the instrument. So if you follow that same technique where you're just pressing down on those keys, you'll be less likely to damage the instrument as you're cleaning it. Running it through a few times, I set that down, then I pick up the foot joint, thread that through both sides, and then the head joint. One thing you want to be careful of when you're cleaning the head joint is that you don't push too far up into the head joint, because although you can't see it, there's a cork here. This cork is placed there to aid in intonation of your head joint, and if you move it, your head joint will you'll either damage it or you'll be out of tune. I'll show you how to check that. If you take the cloth off of your rod, on the end of your cloth on the end of your rod, there's a notch here. And what this notch will allow you to do is test to see where that cork is. And if you notice, you can see the notch lined up towards the center of the embouchure hole. And this will let you know that it's where it needs to be. You shouldn't try to adjust this yourself. So if it's not in the right place, if it's too far forward or somehow got pushed too far back, then you want to take it to your teacher and have them look at it, or take it to your music shop and have them fix it. If you try to do it yourself, you could damage it. There's things in here that could bend, and including this crown. Underneath the crown there's a threaded piece that connects to that cork that could easily be damaged if you try to manipulate it yourself. So if this crown is loose, you don't really want to mess with it. You want to try to make sure that it's snug onto the top here, and if it falls off and you lose it, you're going to have to buy a new one. So it's usually just best to leave it alone. Now we've cleaned out the inside of the instrument. We can clean in the outside of the instrument, and we're just going to remove all the residual oils that got on it while you were playing, just to make sure that it keeps it from tarnishing and keeps it from pitting and looking old. And I take special care to clean the tenons. And remember, these tenons, they need to fit into the instrument with ease, and not too loose, not too tight. You never want to force it. And if it does feel like it's too hard to push it on there, you can actually make sure that it's clean. You don't want to put any oils on it, no cork grease or slide oil or anything like that. You just want to make sure that they're clean inside and out. So I take a little bit extra time to clean those off because they do tend to corrode quicker. Clean out these tenons. And then once again, I'm going to just wipe my fingerprints off the body of the instrument. And after that, it's ready to go. I wanted to go over a couple other things. All of these keys need to move freely, and if they're not moving freely, if they're sluggish, they're either out of adjustment or they've just gotten gummed up, and it's time at that point to take it into the shop. You don't want to try to do anything yourself. You don't want to try to put any oil in between the keys because you could damage them. And all of the keys should push down easily, and you should notice that the flute pads should sit nicely on top of the keys, and if they don't, then you've probably got an adjustment problem. Maybe you've lost a cork or a felt in the back on one of the bottoms of the keys, and again, it's time to take it into the shop and get it looked at. If you notice any of the pads, these are your pads, and if they have any kind of tears in them or anything like that, then you want to get them replaced, because if these pads leak, then your instrument's not going to play well. So if this one up here leaks, then everything down here isn't going to work. Just take a look at your pads every once in a while to make sure that they're in good shape. And I don't hear any clicking or anything like that, so that's a good thing. So that means all of our pads and our corks are working properly right now. So then we're finished with that, and we want to put it back in the case. Just kind of take one more wipe on the top, put the rod back in, and close the case. Now, I don't really recommend placing your cleaning cloth inside the case, because it could bend the keys. This is supposed to be snug when it's closed, so there's not a whole lot of room for anything extra so that it doesn't move around too much. So what I do is I recommend tying your cloth to the outside of your case, just kind of loosely, and the moisture can get off of it and not have to worry about bending any keys. So I hope this helps, and happy practicing.